When chatting about video games in 2025, the meme I reached for the most often was this Rockwell painting of a needlessly contrarian games journalist. You're watching early 2000s gaming TV. Get ready for some truth bombs. Blueprints. I didn't really like it, but I don't have a good reason why. Boom. Expedition 33 didn't personally appeal to me because I'm not really into JRPGs, but I played a bit and I can see why other people like it. Boom. Hollow Knight Silk Song, more like Hollow Knight didn't play the first one, but you guys have fun, I guess. Boom. In terms of raw dopamine harvesting, my favourite game of 2025 was Ball X Pit. But overall, my 2025 Game of the Year was Despelote. It's a slice of life experience about being a young boy in early 2000s Ecuador and watching the national football team qualify for the World Cup. Now, I don't blame you if you have some reservations. Where Ball X Pit has you firing balls all over the screen all the time, Despelote has you kicking one ball, sometimes, in between bittersweet autobiographical vignettes. It's a difficult pitch. To be honest, I did think that the soccer focus would put me off. In my own childhood in early 2000s Britain, everyone was still pretending that you had to like football, because it was like a betrayal of the working class if you didn't. Oasis was still a thing, you know, it was a culturally confusing time. But despite my football-related trauma, Despelote emotionally resonated with me in a way that few games have. It's the sort of art that could only exist as a video game, and pushes the medium forwards. It is short, it's just a couple of hours, but a short playtime appeals to me now, as an adult with a full-time job who has to be in bed by 9:30, or else I become a crazy person. However, it does mean it's hard to talk about without covering the entire plot. I don't think it spoils the game, but fair warning for possible spoilers. You play from the point of view of Julian Cordero, the lead designer of Despelote, who presents this as an autobiography about his childhood. Despelote's unique aesthetic is perfect for a game about nostalgia. People and interactable objects are hand-drawn as charming, childlike 2D billboards, whilst the background is made up of photo scans filtered through grungy, single-colour noise textures. This means that the important things stand out starkly from the background, whilst the world around you has the fuzzy, imprecise quality of old childhood memories blurred by time. These smeary visuals are combined with high-fidelity sound design. In fact, the background sounds were actually recorded in Quito, Ecuador, the exact city where this game is set, despite the fact that most of the devs now live in New York. All the environments are real photo scans from Quito. This is the actual park that the actual Julian used to play in. I haven't seen this much commitment to realism since Red Dead Redemption 2's horse testicles. This is a very personal, singular story from a specific time and place, but the game design captures the universal feeling of being a kid. The boredom of sitting in a classroom, the giddy freedom of running around at break time, doodling in the condensation of a car window. In one scene, you're at some grown-ups party at a restaurant and you find yourself trying to keep a balloon in the air. The nostalgia here hit me like a bullet because I used to do this. This was me. I think it captures the feeling of childhood so well because you can only do things that a child can do. The possibility space doesn't include things that are boring or impossible for a child, like talking about interest rates, but it does include watching TV, playing a hide and seek, and kicking around a glass bottle because a mean grown-up took your football. Between these loose, semi-open world gameplay sections, the real Julian tells us about Ecuador's politics and news events from the time. We see newspaper headlines and archive footage detailing the country's financial collapse and dollarization. Now, if you're a cool guy like me, you've played indie games before, and this sort of thing might raise a red flag.
Ah, I see what's gonna happen,
you say out loud to your Kim Kitsuragi body pillow.
They're making me think this game is about football, but then there's gonna be a dark twist in the third act where something really bad happens, and it turns out the game was about politics the whole time.
But I'm pleased to tell you, Kim, that it's not that kind of game. Despelote has a lovely light touch to its design, and I love that it keeps it grounded and realistic. As a kid, politics is something that happens at the very edge of your awareness. It rumbles away in the corner, in the conversations that adults have around you, as you focus on the important things, like trying to get a football out of a tree, or pet a dog. Games are great at empathy, or, they can be when they want to. And this game has its darkness in the small regrets that Julian has. You start to slip through dream sequences and time skips. As an older teenager, you feel awkward at a party and you get way too drunk. You haven't told your mum where you were going and you've been neglecting your studies and football practice. Someone tackles you and you hurt your leg. No football career for you. As a kid again, you refuse to play with your sister because you're busy being an epic gamer, and your mum tells you off for making her cry. I genuinely felt sadder about making my sister cry in this game than any of the stab murders that Last of Us 2 forces you to do, but that's a different video. Okay, so spoilers for the ending now. In the game's climax, Julian pulls back the curtain in a fantastic way. The grungy filter you've been watching the world through this entire time disappears. And now you're looking at a raw photo scan of the park you've been playing in, except it's all different. It's blobby, obviously, but it's also bigger. It's the wrong size. It feels kind of ominous. What's going on? Well, the park you've been running around isn't the actual park that Julian played in. This is the real one. This is what it looks like. Sort of. And Julian's actual age is different from the story version. He was a bit young to have actually been playing football in 2001, but lining that up with the World Cup works better for the story, and Julian just tells us that outright. As you wander around this blobby hellscape, Julian tells us that when they came to record audio in Quito, they had to hire a security guard because it was too dangerous to be walking around with expensive sound equipment. And in this moment, the soft, rose-tinted nostalgia is gone. None of the memories we've been experiencing have ever had an element of danger. It's all been idealistic, focused on the imagination of kids. It hasn't been real. Julian then shows us the actual broadcast footage from Ecuador's winning goal in their World Cup qualifying win. Then we're taken back into the dream one last time to 2009's teenage Julian. You seem to have patched things up with your mum. You head out into the park to hang out with some friends and kick a ball around and talk and laugh. The camera then snaps to the ball and we're flying between feet, flying around the park, between all the people that call this place home, and then we're kicked up into the sky to hang above Quito and look down from above. So look, I get that this isn't for everyone. Some people might find this game boring. Some might not like that the football itself is slightly janky. And I'm anticipating a comment saying that I can't call this my game of the year because it barely qualifies as a game. But nothing else in 2025 did such a good job of putting me in someone else's shoes. We all like games that let us pretend to be somebody else, and most of the time we want to be some grumpy guy with incredible upper body strength. I love lots of those games, and I love this as well. Games can be great empathy machines, and that's mostly been used in games about doing gun violence to try and make you feel bad about doing gun violence. But there I go talking about Last of Us 2 again. But this empathy machine can also make you share an experience with someone on the other side of the world, someone different from yourself, someone who doesn't look like you, someone whose language you don't speak. Lo siento por mi mal español. The devs released this bonkers trailer to announce the launch of Despelote on Switch. It's amazing, it's genuinely unhinged. Also turns out they're like friends with the developer of Ball X Pit as well, or something.
Hi, I'm Kenny Sun, and today I'm excited to share Ball Pit.
Oh, it's just pronounced Ball Pit. Okay. They also mention that Despelote has not been a commercial success, which is a shame, I think. It might not be the flashiest generator of dopamine in the world, but it genuinely pushes the medium of video games forward. I'm not saying you have to play things you don't like, but I think if we care about this as an art form, we should try to show up for these kinds of games. Either way, I don't care what anyone else thinks. For me, Despelote is GOTY 2025, and that's my truth bomb. Boom. Anyway, what was I saying? Ball Pit, more like bullshit. Boom. Thank you for watching. That was a joke. As I said, I liked Ball Pit, obviously. Dispatch was also up there, but Despelote just about pipped it for this. I kind of find it tricky to write funny videos about something that's actually good, so I hope that this was still entertaining to watch. I don't know, do you want more hatred of trash, or was this interesting? Like and subscribe, etc. And as they say in Ecuador, adios.